So this is problem 32, chapter 10 of Giancoli 6th edition. So what we have is a piece of wood, and then the mass of this piece of wood is given to us. It's 0.48 kilograms. And this piece of wood floats when it's put in water. Okay, so water here, density of water here. When we put this piece of wood, it floats. Now, when we pick the same piece of wood and put it in alcohol, it no longer floats, now it sinks. Okay, so this is density of alcohol. Same piece of wood. And the question now is, what is the unknown in this story is what is the specific gravity of wood? They give us also some additional information. They let us know the specific gravity of alcohol. So I'll put it here. The specific gravity of alcohol is 0.79. Remember, specific gravity is the density of the substance, in this case alcohol, divided by the density of water at 4 Celsius. And they also let us know what is the apparent weight of this piece of wood when it's inside alcohol. The apparent mass of this piece of wood is 0.047 kilogram. Okay, so with that, we are going to move on and try to get the specific gravity of wood. I'm going to start from the right side, putting this wood in alcohol, because that's the part where we have lots of information. So what we know is that the apparent weight of this piece of wood in alcohol is this mass 0.047 kilogram multiplied by g, and this apparent weight is the real weight of the object. We know this real mass minus the buoyant force, right? So the buoyant force makes it feel a little lighter. So what we have is the weight of the object, but the buoyant force makes it feel a little lighter, but it still is not enough to hold this object, so it sinks. Okay, so let's continue playing a little bit more with this equation. What is the buoyant force? We know is the weight of the fluid that was displaced, the fluid here being alcohol. So from here I can get rid of G. Okay, so now we have the mass, apparent mass, equals to the real mass minus the mass of the fluid, the mass of the alcohol that was displaced. Let's use that expression that we have for density. Density is the mass divided by the volume. Now, I don't know the mass of the fluid that was displaced, but that equation may be able to help us. So instead of the mass of the fluid, I'm going to write minus the density of the fluid, is alcohol, multiplied by the volume of the alcohol that was displaced, and we know that this volume is exactly the same volume of the wood. It was displaced so that the wood could fit there. So I'm going to put the volume of the wood. Very well. We do not have the density of alcohol, but we have the specific gravity of alcohol. And when it comes to the volume of the wood, that we completely don't know. But don't get desperate. Again, same thing that we did for the mass that we didn't have. We used the equation for density. Let's again use this equation here in place of the volume of wood. So what are we going to write? The apparent mass is equal to the real mass minus the density of alcohol, and instead of the volume I'm going to write the real mass of the wood. This one we know, it's the same mass here, and divided by the density of wood. Okay, the density of wood we don't know, but what we want to get is the specific gravity of wood. So let's play a little bit more with this equation. What we have is the apparent mass that is known is equal to the mass of the wood minus. We don't have the density of alcohol, we have the specific gravity, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply and divide everything by the density of water, because this whole quantity here we do know is that 0.79 that is given to us. Let me continue. Since I divided, I'm going to multiply this by the same density of water, and this is divided by the density of wood. And we also have, cannot forget, the mass. of the piece of wood. Now, what do we see here? What is this ratio? This ratio is what we are after. This is 1 over the specific gravity of the wood. Everything else in this equation we know. We know the apparent mass, we know the real mass, we know the specific gravity of alcohol, and we know the mass of the object. So from this equation now we can get the specific gravity of the alcohol.